think we need to unpack some of this Brian Kelly slander because there's been far too much of it, and we don't stand for it unless, of course, the slander is warranted. Then, you kind of charge the game. But I think for Brian Kelly, man, there's been far too much that's been said about him that just, quite frankly, does not check out. So let's kind of unpack that together right now. All Brian Kelly has done since getting to LSU, from where I'm sitting, is knock out narrative after narrative after narrative. All I've seen him do. Because you got to LSU, does the pep rally. What was the first clip you saw of him? It wasn't saying he was excited to be at LSU. It wasn't him promising to win national championships or anything like that. The first clip that hit the internet that went viral about Brian Kelly was him at the basketball game, or on a basketball court, rather, in front of the crowd saying, me and my family, and people the internet is merciless, dude. Internet is merciless. And they jumped on him and said, oh, this guy's not a fit. This is a wannabe Southerner. He's faking it. This is not going to work. He's not a fit. And since then, let's check the resume here. Brian Kelly, a guy that's not a fit in the SEC, has beat Nick Saban his first year on the job, made it to the SEC championship game when there was divisions, and in 2 years has 2 10-win seasons. Last year had a Heisman Trophy winner playing quarterback for him. Looks like he's a fit okay to me. Looks like he's fitting in just fine so far in Baton Rouge. Then the next narrative that we heard a lot of, even when he got that job, was, hey, he's not going to recruit. This came just to call a spade here. The volume was pretty loud in South Bend, Indiana, about what he wasn't going to do on the recruiting trail, or maybe what he would refuse to do on the recruiting trail. So far, again, let's check the resume. Last night, 5-star plus corner DJ Pickett, massive win over a number of other big fish on the recruiting trail. Bryce Underwood, the top player in America, quarterback out of the state of Michigan, committed to LSU. Currently, the 2025 class, LSU has the number 3 class in all the freaking country. Check what he's done so far on the recruiting trail outside of this class. He's got 2 top 10 classes, working on his second top 5 class right now. So if we're just going to be real here, Brian Kelly has been just destroying these narratives left and right. And to me, like, Leonardo DiCaprio and Brian Kelly have a lot in common. Leonardo DiCaprio, if he's in a movie, the floor is going to be pretty high. Like, is it going to win an Oscar? Is it going to be, the movie of the summer? Sometimes, yes, but oftentimes it's going to be just a really good movie, and you'll leave that movie and say, wow, I enjoyed that, mostly because of what Leo DiCaprio brought to the table there. That's Brian Kelly. Universal approval rate, high floor. Everything he touches usually has some improved value after he gets his hands on it. That's Brian Kelly. Now, remember, though, what was the knock on Leo DiCaprio for a long time, man? I had to slack Nick break to make sure I was right on this morning. Didn't have an Oscar. Can he win the big one? That was always the knock. That was the knock that people had for him for a long time. Deserved or undeserved, that was the knock. Brian Kelly hasn't won a natty. Brian Kelly's still searching for his Oscar. But I think even when Leo was going through that stretch where he hadn't won an Oscar, I don't think you could have asked anybody in the film community and said, well, hey, is that going to be a forever thing? Will he ever win an Oscar? I don't think the majority of the people answering that question answered it with a no. I think most people said, yeah, probably a matter of time. Probably got to get the situation right, the circumstances right, the things around him. The stars kind of have to align a little bit. Looking at Brian Kelly at LSU, y'all, LSU, we've said it before, is a rocket ship that's already been to the moon. They've won a national championship with Ed Orgeron and Les Miles, 2 individuals that are phenomenal coaches in their own right based on that hardware, but also Brian Kelly, from a win percentage standpoint, has a better winning percentage than both those individuals. So on paper, I think it's fair to make the argument that the rocket ship that LSU is now has one of the best pilots behind that thing than they've had previously and gone to the moon with. And so you talk about the future for LSU, man, the brand, the resources, the fertile recruiting ground. Talk about the stars aligning. I've said it before. I think it is a matter of when, not if, Brian Kelly wins that national championship. And when he does that, will this slander persist? I don't know. In the social media day and age we're in right now, there's always some slander to be had, regardless of who you are. But I think that would really turn the volume down quite a bit on what he won't do, can't do, isn't a fit for. The whole thing, is he a fit? Is he not a fit? That discussion is always fun to me, because if you succeed at a high level, you're a fit. Like, does not matter. Does not matter. And would I be a fit to go talk about English Premier League soccer? I promise you, no. Don't know the game, not from there, never played the sport. I would not be a fit. But if we were to work our tail off, figure out all those things, embed ourselves in those communities, which would be a lot of work, but we do it, we could probably, I believe, find a way to put together a pretty solid product in the digital media space for English Premier League soccer. I think we would succeed. So would it be a fit on paper? No, but when we start succeeding, at that point, nobody really cares if you're a fit because you're winning. Now, we're not going to do any EPL content anytime soon. I apologize to the folks that were hoping for that. We are exclusively college football, but the point remains the same. Brian Kelly, is he a fit? Is he not a fit? He's a fit. He's a fit because of what he's done from a product standpoint on the recruiting trail and from a wins-loss perspective. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.